His level of compassion was just amazing. While we were beginning to think that only important service was important, while we were thinking that only big devotees were big, you know, that monkeys were good for building roads to Lanka, but spiders weren't. Prabhupada was taking a totally different approach, and that approach was based on true compassion. He was taking the position that his natural concern for people was such that I remember one time in 1968 he wrote to Shamadasi. It was before I went out there in New Vrindavan, just after she had married Hayagriva, and it turned out she had had an infection in one of her fingers. And he wrote 5 letters to Shamadasi concerned about her finger. Now, that's not what one had thought in those days. We were thinking, oh, it's just your body, it's just made of stool and worms and blood and pus and all those nice things. Who cares about your body? Chop off the finger, continue to serve Krishna. But no, Prabhupada did it. And in those days, in all the temples, what we do is we Xerox the letters from Prabhupada and distribute them to all the temples. So every temple had a book of Prabhupada letters, probably 100 or 200 letters, and we'd collect them. So when everybody came and new devotees, we'd just say, oh, do you want to hear what a letter from Prabhupada is like? A letter from Prabhupada was sort of like the buzzword for, must be what ants feel like when they get their grain of sugar. A letter from Prabhupada. Anyone's letter from Prabhupada was a letter from Prabhupada. What to speak of one directed to oneself. So I remember I was in the Detroit temple one time. I was sitting going through letters for Prabhupada, just noticing how much compassion he was directing towards one and all.
So as far as I'm concerned, he was expert in all the qualities of a great devotee. Just by seeing him, you think of Krishna. But the one that stuck out for me was compassion. Prabhupada, although very non-compromising at time and very strict, was open-minded, doing what the situation called for. If it meant tying up a microphone with a Brahmin thread, or understanding our foibles. He once said to me, if I don't forgive you, and he usually did, if I don't forgive you, with a compassionate face, he said, then Krishna will forgive you. And if Krishna does not, Radharani will.
In the final days, which was the most poignant, we were there in Vrindavan and having like the vigil, the kirtan, and taking turns chanting softly with the little symbols. And at a certain point, I got sick. I got this fever. I don't know what it was. I just one day just walked back to my room and just collapsed right in my room, and just fever. And so I was sick for a few days, and anyway, it took me about a week or so to recover, and then I was able to, when I got better, then I was able to again go and see Prabhupada. So when I came there, of course Prabhupada was just lying on his bed, and he was conversing with his servants, and sometimes he would ask who was having the kirtan, and so that particular day he asked, and they said, they mentioned my name, and then Prabhupada said, oh, Brahmananda, and then he made me call me, and then I came forward, and so he said, you were ill, you were not feeling well. I mean, here's Prabhupada, just completely shriveled, and I mean, Prabhupada was not maybe feeling. I mean, when Prabhupada was concerned, I'm not feeling well. I had just a little fever, And here's Prabhupada on his departure bed, and he said, "Oh, you were not." I mean, he with such concern and really with love, and I just was totally, affected by that. How Prabhupada could be thinking that I wasn't feeling well. So I think this is the thing that affected me most, how much Prabhupada loved us. But the thing is, we're not very lovable, and we all have defects and so on. But why did Prabhupada love us? And he loved us because he saw us as servants of Krishna. And he also even said that we were sent by his Guru Maharaj to help in his mission. But anyway, Prabhupada saw us as Krishna's servants, and his mission was to spread Krishna consciousness. So whatever we could do to assist and do something in this cause of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada very much appreciated, and I think that's the essence of Srila Prabhupada. At least he could see us as servants of Krishna. So let us just try and be that. That's all.